Shalom, shalom, shalom. All honor, praise, and glory be to Yahweh Basham Yahushua, Wahakodash Rakah. Double honors to the apostles and the elders over at the great millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to you, brothers, teaching this truth and sincerity and in spirit across the four corners of the earth where we have been scattered to due to the breach of the covenant, of the deal, of the contract, made by our forefathers with the Most High, what people call God, Yahweh. Yeah, man. And to the rest of you believers out there, the women and children, friends of the prophets of the Israelite nation, to you I say peace and blessings as well, proving that faith by your works. All right, getting straight to it. This is a quick breakdown I want to go into. Understanding the grafting in. I'm trying to decide if I want to do, because really, this is a stumbling block. This is what this is. There's a bunch of stumbling blocks in this chapter, but it really isn't, because you can really start the chapter from the top and cut a lot of the discrepancies that these heathens, including Jakes, so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, who don't acknowledge themselves to be Israelites and think all people can be saved no matter what they are or race, or it's not about race. All that could really be cut with going to the top of the chapter, but it's a few discrepancies in here that allows them to, cling to the whole. Like this one, we're definitely gonna go into, which is the Salaki, I'm in the wrong. So from the top of the chapter, right? But this one in here, they like to mention a lot, which is the whole grafting in, which is found in verse 17. So really, how you could do it, because I'm trying to say less, but like 15, people don't understand that. They had discrepancies with that verse. Really, the verse break itself down. So that's the thing you can go into. You can break down verse 15 in itself as far as being a lesson, an understanding, giving a true understanding to. And then verse 16, that's another one. But the point for this lesson is going to be focused on 17. So what I will do is start at verse 16. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. This is Romans 11 and 16. It says, "For if the first fruit be holy, the lump also is holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches." So people tend to look over words, and because really, if you just deal with this 16th verse, you will understand the 17th verse, but clearly people jump over this verse. No one ever comes with this verse. But just for brothers who and sisters who want to understand that, these two, I'll just go over both of them. So for if the first fruit be holy. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna go into that word holy. So for if the first fruit be holy, and then we're gonna go into first fruit. You know what we're gonna do? Turn this down a little bit so I can think. We're gonna go into first fruit first, Salakia. So let's go to Romans 8. So the first fruit, what is the first fruit? Let me see, Jeremiah. I believe that's Jeremiah. Let's see. To let you know, this is talking about Israel, because they use verse 17 to say it's about everybody. It's like it, Jeremiah 2 and verse 3. So for the first fruit, right? Because we're not gonna break down first fruit, but we're gonna show you that first fruit is talking about Israelites. Jeremiah 2 and 3. Israel, they say Israel was holiness unto the Lord, and the first fruit of his increase. You see? Israel this verse in itself it breaks down both parts. Because if you go back, jump back real quick, Romans 11:16. What does it say? It say, for if the first fruit be holy, comma, we're gonna stop right there. Let's go back. Jeremiah 2:3. Israel was holiness unto Yahweh, unto the Lord Yahweh. You see? So Israel is that holiness off top. So that's why I said I wanted to start with holy first, because that's fundamental. That's like one of the first fundamentals you get when you read in the Bible. Holy, who the holy people are. So Israel was holiness unto the Lord. So that's one strike against that 16th verse talking about heathens, natural heathens. So Israel was holiness unto the Lord Yahweh, and the first fruit and the first fruits of his increase. You see, all that devour him shall offend, evil shall come upon them. You see, so it's not talking about nobody else, man. So we go back for Romans 11:16. For if the first fruit be holy, you see, so who is the first fruit? The first fruit, it just told us, Jeremiah 2:3. Israel was holiness unto the Lord and the first fruit of his increase. So Israel is the first fruit, man. You see? For if the first fruit be holy, the lump also is holy. So, and why does it say that? Because matter of fact, let's go into that word holy now. But that verse low key did just cut it. So Israel was holiness unto the Lord and the first fruit of his increase, right? Let's go into it a little bit more. This is Leviticus 11, and we're gonna go to 44. It says, for I am the Lord Yahweh, your power, your God, your power. Ye shall therefore sanctify yourselves, and ye shall be holy. For I am holy. Neither shall ye defile yourselves with any manner of creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. For I am the Lord, I am Yahweh, that bringeth you up out of the land of Egypt. See? Who was brought out of the land of Egypt? The children of Israel, man. Only the Israelites. To be your God. Ye shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. Because he didn't do that for everybody. You see? Let's just jump to this real quick. This is Leviticus 20 and 26. Because the Lord's not with everybody, and he's not with everything. You see? He's with the Israelites. This is Leviticus 20 and 26. And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that ye should be mine. You see? So the Israelites are holy. Let's get one more. This is Leviticus, let's see, what is that? Leviticus 19 and 1. Actually 2, but I'll start at 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, and Yahweh spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, and say unto them, see, ye shall be holy, for I, the Lord your God, am holy. You see? So that's that. So when you go back to that Romans 11 and 16, you know, we breaking this thing down right by the Spirit. For if the first fruit be holy, that first fruit is Israel. Israel's holiness unto the Lord and the first fruit of his increase. And we just went in that the children of Israel was told to be holy because he's the Lord their God. They're the only holy people. You see? And then we can low-key get one more. This is Daniel. Matter of fact, what's that? Daniel 11? Let me see real quick. Salakia. It might be Daniel 8. Yeah, I believe that's Daniel 8. Daniel 8 and, yep. Let's see. Let me jump down so. Okay. Yeah, so this was the angel. This was the vision being given to Daniel, you know, about the the four beasts, the four horns, etc. But in here it tell you this. Listen to this. This is Daniel 8 and when he was breaking it down to him. It says, Daniel 8:24, and his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper, and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. Who was that talking about? The Israelites, man. You see? Because that's just going into um, really Antiochus Epiphany, or Antiochus Epiphanies. You know, when during the Maccabean time, when Israelites was pretty much forced to be Greeks, which is why people don't understand this, man, because they know nothing about that history. But it's right here. All right. So I ain't gonna keep this going too much longer, because that's pretty much that on that verse. Let's see, 11. So that's a cut, man. That's just that on that. So you can use all those verses to show who the holy are, and just clear cut who the first fruit is. It say the lump also. So Romans 11:16. For if the first fruit be holy, the lump also is holy. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. Now, why does it say the lump is also holy? Because you can't, if let's see, there's no, pretty much there's no in between. There's no gray areas with the Lord. It's either this or it's that. Okay, and we know that with this. So pretty much, if you did have someone out here that thought, okay, see a little bit of anything, 1 Corinthians 5:6, your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? You see Galatians 5:9, a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. So you gotta, it can't, any little bit of something, it will make it for everybody. But when you understanding this, because really only the elect is gonna get this, man. It's not even, I can't even, worry myself with it. So the lump is also holy, because it's only that. If it had if a few heathens can be saved, that means all heathens can be saved, and that's not possible according to Deuteronomy. What is that, 6 or 23? Salakia, give me a second. Deuteronomy. Bear with me 1 second. Let's see. Oh. Okay. Might be 23. Yep. Deuteronomy 23, and I'm gonna start at 2. A bastard shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to his 10th generation shall he not enter into the congregation of the Lord. An Ammonite or Moabite shall not enter into the congregation of the Lord, even to their 10th generation shall they not enter into the congregation of the Lord forever. The Lord don't change, man. You see? And he's not the author of confusion. Look those scriptures up. So it's impossible for, if this was remotely even talking about being a possibility, an Edomite could be saved, so-called white man, a so-called African man, a real African, so-called real African, a real Hamite. That means all heathens will have to be saved. But that's impossible for this to say this if that was written saying that Ammon and Moab, the so-called Japanese and Chinese man, they're never able to come in. See? So it's impossible for this to be talking about the inclusion of all heathens. Now let's get to the last part. And if the root be holy, so are the branches. See? So the lump is, for if the first fruit be holy, if if it's about the Israelites getting redemption, it's completely about the Israelites. It's only about the Israelites getting redemption. Because if it was about all getting redemption, uh, if it was a little bit about all getting redemption, it would be completely about all getting redemption. You have no scriptures like that, man. You just have stumbling blocks to allow people to fool people, for people to fool themselves, for the wicked to fool themselves, man. That's what this is about. Lord don't want everybody, man. So he put stumbling blocks in the scriptures. You know, if it was a little bit, no, it'd be, if it was a little bit, here, this one piece show you that it's about heathens being saved. They're a part of the branches, which we're going to get to in just a second. But we just established this part just for now, just to show you, this to set up to understand the next verse, man. So for if the first fruit be holy, which is all Israelites, that means the whole thing, the lump, is also holy. Because the Israelites are first fruit, and the Israelites are only the holy. They're the holy people. That means the whole lump sum is all Israelites, man. And if the root be holy, because who is the root? The root is Yahweh. So are the branches, man. Because we was born again through Yahweh in the name Yahweh, man. All Israelites. And we're talking about what? We're talking about agriculture right now. So let's get to the point. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, were grafted in among them. Now, why does it say wild? Because that's why it's important to know about, you know, the history, like, of the Maccabees and stuff like that. Because before you got to this point, well, I'll tell you right here. This is you know what? Let me go ahead and finish that verse. Then we go ahead and get to it. This is Romans 11:17. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou being a wild olive tree, work graft in among them, and with them partakers of the root and fatness of the olive tree. You see? Because what is the key word in this verse? Starting off, olive. No, slakia, wild. And if some of the branches be broken off, and thou, right? We're talking about an Israelite who didn't know they were Israelite, being a wild olive tree, not just an olive tree, a wild olive tree, because obviously it's about an olive tree. Work grafted in among them, meaning the rest of the olive tree, the olive tree that was naturally there. And with them partakers of the root and of the fatness of the olive tree. You see that? Boast not against the branches, but if thou boast, so that's that, man. So it's completely about the Israelites. You could just see it in just that. But we'll go to it real quick. This is Zechariah. Let's see. Zechariah 1. Matter of fact, let's start with 4. Zechariah 4, and I'm going to start at 1. And the angel that talked to me came again and waked me as a man that is wakened out of his sleep. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I said, I looked, and behold, a candlestick of all gold, with a bowl upon the top of it, and his 7 lamps thereon, and 7 pipes to the 7 lamps, which are upon the top thereof, and 2 olive trees by it, one upon the right side of the bowl, and the other upon the left side thereof. So I answered and spake to the angel that talked to me, saying, what are these, my Lord? Then the angel that talked with me answered and said unto me, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Okay, now let's jump down to 11. Then answered I and said unto him, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side thereof? And I answered again and said unto him, what be these 2 olive branches, which through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves? And he said, and he answered and said, knowest thou not what these be? And I said, no, my Lord. Then said he, these are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Now, who are the anointed? Psalms 28, end of the chapter. Psalms 28, 8. And I'm going to start at Yahweh is their strength, and he is the saving strength of his anointed. Save thy people. You see? Who's the Lord's people? Israelites. So the Israelites will be the anointed, because that's what this is talking about. The Lord is their strength, and he is the saving strength of his anointed. Save thy people and bless thine inheritance. Feed them also and lift them up forever. So when you go back to that, he said, verse 14, Zechariah 4 and 14, then said he, these are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. So it's talking about Israelites, man. It's not talking to anybody else. Because if you know who the Lord's people is, which we can get, by the Spirit and grace and mercy, how about Shemel Shah, but if you know who the Lord's anointed is, and you know who his people is, you A-okay. It's not about nobody else, man. You're not getting no heathens out of that, man. It's not gonna happen. So yeah, those are the Lord's anointed, man. Do this though. 32 and 9. Okay, for the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance, man. There you go, man. It's just straight to the point. That's who the Lord's anointed is, and that's who the Lord's inheritance is, man. See, the Lord is their strength, and he is the saving strength of his anointed. Save thy people and bless thine inheritance. Feed them also and lift them up. This 1 Kings 8, and I'm gonna start at I'm gonna start at 14. And the king turned his face about and blessed all the congregation of Israel. And all the congregation of Israel stood. So this is Solomon, right? It says, and he said, blessed be Yahweh, power of Israel, which spake with his mouth unto David my father, and hath with his hand fulfilled it, saying, since the day that I brought forth my people Israel out of Egypt, I chose no city out of all the tribes of Israel to build an house, that my name might be therein, but I chose David to be over my people Israel. See that? So it's just there's no way you can get around this, man. This has nothing to do with anybody else, man. The Lord's people is Israel. Period. We went over it, man. But anyway, 312, man. See that? Zechariah 8 and 8. And I will bring them, and they shall dwell in the midst of Jerusalem, and they shall be my people, and I will be their God in truth and in righteousness, man. Because he's going to bring us back. He's bringing back, though, we all became wild olive trees, man. And the root is holy, because the root is Yahushua, and Yahushua is Israelite, man, from the tribe of Judah. So, yeah, that's the point, man. You see? And then while we doing that, let's do this. So going back to that Zechariah Zechariah, what? The 4 and 14. So these are the anointed, these are the two anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth. Well, when you go back to that first chapter and you jump down to this, breaks it down. This is Zechariah 1 and 18. Then I then lifted up my eyes and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, what be these? And he answered me, these are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord shewed me 4. So that's that, man. You see? So those horns represents kings and kingdoms, man. We talk about that in Daniel. That represents kings and kingdoms. Those different kingdoms that Israel was captives in. Those different slaveries, man. The Persians and the Medes captivity. The Greek captivity. Where you get the Jew nor Greek, but they took that part out. That's in the Maccabees. You know? But it talk about the how, you know, pretty much Israel's gonna succumb to subjugation due to the Salakia, due to the Greek rulership, man. They talk about that in Daniel. You know what I'm saying? So that's pretty much it, man. So that's how you have, and what happened during those captivities. They was forced to live like them. Like they was forced to live, first and foremost, well, mainly they was forced to live like the Greeks, man. You know, due to Antiochus or Antiochus Epiphanes, man. That's what happened. So what happened? They end up becoming wild. So that's why it says that, man. So you had Israelites who fell away, and you got some that stayed close, you know, to home. That's all this is going into. It's not going into anything else. And the Lord doesn't deal with mingled seed, man, because we're dealing with agriculture, you know, according to the scriptures. And then even if you go to Revelation, let me see, what's that? Revelation, 2 prophets. 2 prophets. That tortured everybody. Yeah, that's it. 11 and let's see. Yep. That's it. Revelation 11 and 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry and shall send gifts one to another, because these 2 prophets, notice that 2, tormented them that dwell on the earth. You see? And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life of God, right? The spirit of life from God, from the Heavenly Father, entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And that's the Israelites that's waking up right now, man. The elect. This is not talking about anybody else, man. This is 100% about the Israelites. Only the Israelites is going to be saved. So you're not a part of any grafting in or anything, because the Lord does not deal with that, man. And this is going to be my last scripture. This is Leviticus, Lord willing. This is Leviticus 19 and 19. Because that's dealing with agriculture, right? Well, this is in the law, and the Lord doesn't change. You shall keep my statutes. Thou shalt not let thy cattle gender with a diverse kind. Thou shalt not sow thy field with mingled seed. Because the wild olive tree is still an olive. It's just wild. If you deal with planting, that's how you can take plants that's of the same like a peppermint plant, right? You could pull you off a leaf and let the shoot plant it in some water, put it in some water, let the roots grow out, and then you could plant it right in with the natural one that was there the whole time. You know, so Lord willing, this has been edifying, man. Shalom.